Hey everyone. So I said I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do it. This is the one time exception because I have a soft heart. I can't help it. So I really don't have the time to do a lot of Evony videos, a lot of stuff, right? I'm transitioning back into real life and I was supposed to actually not start my job this week or these last couple of days. I was supposed to start next week, but they had to expedite me to start early. So I literally did not have time to transition my life. So I want to do this video so that I'm going to send this link to every single person that messages me with the same issue because unfortunately, I just don't have time to do this for everybody. But here is an example of Daddy Purge, who is a free-to-play player, completely free-to-play. He's only like 500 million power, and he's been playing on an older server, I think Continent 2, for, he said, maybe 7 years, okay? So this affected him, the bans, right? Because he truly is a free to play player and he was maybe mistaken as an alt or a bot or whatever the reason they banned him, they did. So my questions to him were kind of interrogating because the thing is if I'm going to listen to your story and take the time to do a video on this, I want to know if like you're legit, right? And so talking to him, I was asking questions in different ways to see if like I could catch him. And every single time he was like, no, I work 12 hours a day. I have a family. I support my children. I literally just come on this game to play. And I've been grinding it out for the last 7 years. And my account was banned. And so I asked him, I said, okay, do you have, like, were you plundering a lot of resources? Do you have other alts? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I have 2 other alts. Now, we know that Evony allows us to have 2 alts, right? It's in our accounts. If you're VIP 13 or over, you have 2 alt chances. So Evony is basically telling us that we're allowed to, right? So he manually plays on these accounts. I asked, have you downloaded PC Client? Have you paid for the Evony joiner? Have you done any other sort of botting? He said, no, everything is manual. He said, no, I only use my mobile phone. I don't use the PC. So all of the things speculated, he does not use. So the only thing that I think is kind of a common factor on bans that happen on mains is that he is completely free to play. Now, he does have VIP 13, close to 14 from playing for so long. So he's accrued that free VIP, on the wall and logging in every day. So you can actually get VIP 13 over a long period of time. So this is his alliance. He has, other teammates that are vouching for him. I told him the first thing to do is to have every single coiner on your server write to CS. Now, his alliance did it, but they are insistent that they verified that the account has a large number of resource transactions that violate the game regulations, okay? So when you get something generic like this, you've got to beat Evony down with specifics. You have to get the specifics for them in order for you to get your account unbanned, okay? Now, I want to tell you that there have been several free-to-play players that I have helped get their accounts unbanned. Now, again, I'm not going to be able to do this for everyone. This is only a one-time thing. I will send you this video. It'll tell you exactly how to do it. So you need to get your coiners in the server to write CS a ticket. And it needs to be on the lines that this person is integral to the alliance. You're going to stop spending, all that kind of stuff, right? They need to know that in order for them to ban a player that does not spend money, there has to be some sort of risk to them, right? So again, stressing that it needs to be coiners that are vouching for you. So here's just the examples here. He has really good teammates that are writing CS. They're writing the alliance emails to write to CS. Make sure you include the player ID. People were asking how do they get in touch with customer service. There is an email that you can reach out to. You can make a new account to reach out to them, but I highly recommend that you go through email. Don't do a ticket in the game. Go through email. That is the proper channel to do it, especially for people that are spenders. Go through email. So that being said, he finally got a reason, right? Like generalized reason of why his account was banned. And it's basically number one, if you violate 1.8, which is a really long list of terms, you will get gems, resources, and troops deducted, right? So those are along the lines of cheating and hacks and all that kind of stuff. But on number two, if your account got banned, your Evony account has been reviewed and found to be in violation of terms of service, like illegal resource trading or cheat. And again, it's like the same thing, but in section 1.9, it basically is giving you the laydown that we actually can terminate your account for any reason. We actually don't even have to have a reason to terminate your account. So I believe that section 1 is for coiners that cheat, and I think section 2 is for free-to-play players because they can get rid of free-to-play players without any risk on them, right? It's basically a risk assessment for them, and if they're not getting any return from a free-to-play player, they're just going to deem it as, like we're not getting any profit off this person, so it's not a big deal for us to terminate them or ban them. However, these people are human beings, right? These people put in a lot of time. These people, when you hear that he's played 7 years and he's got a family and he works hard and, Evony is just like, maybe just like a little escape for him. I can't imagine like anybody not caring about that, right? But companies, right? Companies and corporations will see people as bottom lines and they don't see them as people. And, when they do a risk assessment, they're just like, yep, we can ban this account because we've never seen any money from it. So once he got the explanation, he kept, he doubled down on everything. He's like, I did not use anything. I did not use anything outside of the game. And he even said, I'm free to play. How would I have money to pay for anything outside of Evony? How could I pay for resources when I don't even pay for packs in Evony? And I think this is where this is not going to help you. So if you are a free to play player that got banned, do not stress that you are free to play. Okay? Give Evony some incentive that if you get unbanned, that it's going to pay off for them, right? And I'm not saying this is right. I'm saying, hey, if you really care about getting your account unbanned, try these methods. So I told him, why not contact Evony and say you will become a paying customer if your account gets unbanned? Because we know Evony loves money. And we know that Evony has consistently blackmailed people who have cheated with, the pack loading and stolen credit cards, but they give them a number and an amount that they can pay back. But in this instance, there was no monetary exchange. So Evony can't actually get anything from him, right? And so he can only say, I will start becoming a paying customer, but there's nothing that they can actually get from him now. So I think that they assess RSS as a monetary value. And what's interesting, and this is what I wanted to show you guys, is they actually gave him an amount. So in August, they said he plundered over 200 billion resources. Okay, so we know that a lot of people put $20, $40 on alts to buy stamina and gems, and they probably think that that is not going to be worth the offset of the resources that were traded. But here is where I want to call this out. 200 billion resources. This guy is 500 million power, keep 36. If I had 200 billion resources, and I join rallies all the time, and I can't even get close to 200 billion resources, I would be keep 30 or 43. I would have my MA8. I would have my rally spot. I would have my pastor upgraded. I would have all this stuff upgraded with 200 billion resources. So it is not logical that this person who's only 500 million power took that amount of resources. So the question is a couple of things. So is there an automation tool that flags 200 billion resources? Because think about it. Why is it that so many people don't get their alts banned? Why is it that so many people don't experience the same bandwaves that other alliances do? And I think maybe it comes down to the trigger of over 200 billion resources. Maybe people are only plundering 20 billion to 40 billion resources a month, and Evony doesn't even see it on their radar, right? Unless they get reported and they go into the account, they don't see these like huge RSS hits. But is it possible that the automation tool flags over 200 billion resources being plundered? And what's interesting is that we normally think that they do an audit before All Stars or Challenge, right? Because that's when we also see a lot of times where alts get hit. But what if it's just the automated system and it's coincidence because a lot more people are plundering a lot more resources during that time frame? So it is something to think about. And I'm not trying to tell you like, hey, if you do 190, you're not going to get flagged. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that they actually gave an amount in the month of August. It's not all time. It says in the month of August, this is how many resources that were taken. Now, I have seen screenshots in other chats that have 250 billion, 300 billion. So obviously, the people that are getting banned are taking a lot of resources. But again, everybody has a different situation. And so it's hard to kind of put everybody together. But one thing is in common, and this is something to stress. One thing in common is that usually the places that get the auto bans, they are either one in a bubble and burn server, or they have server issues or tension or civil war or cold war. The bigs don't get along. And I asked him, are you guys in that situation? And he said, yes. So I don't want to get on a soapbox, but I truly believe that NAP servers and servers that get along and work together are the ones that have the least amount of issues, right? And I think that it's interesting because there will be people that get auto banned all the time because they're in conflict not only with their server but other servers, right? Or other continents or whatever the reason is. You know, maybe they got caught cheating and pack loading, and then all of a sudden, you know, like people that feel like they got pushed out of rewards, right? Or people who feel like, hey, our team should have placed better in challenge than them because they were cheating this whole time. They're going to upset different alliances that truly think that they got cheated out of rewards. And is that valid? Is it something that people should complain about? Sure. I mean, if people are truly spending, right? Take example, the castle event. Take example, if somebody was pack loading and they got number one and they only spent $3,000, but the number two person spent $12K, right? Of real money because they weren't pack loading or using stolen credit cards. They should be able to complain about that kind of stuff. But I would say if you are in a NAP server, you really don't want to complain about other players that might be doing some of these things, because the moment that they start getting flagged, they're going to start pointing fingers in the server, right? And then all of a sudden, they can be like, you know what? If I can't get my resources this way, I'm just going to start farming people on the server. You don't want to get into that dynamic. So I would say free to play and low coiners, you should also be respectful to the people in your server that do spend a lot of money, because they keep it peaceful for you and you get to enjoy your game. Because I feel so bad for people on bubble and burn servers, because the people that can't spend, right? The people that can't compete, they're always going to be the collateral damage. They're always going to be the one at the short end of the stick. So if you're on a NAP server, you should appreciate the big coiners that keep the server that way. So it's like a two-way street. And I also will say, you know, people in the community, if you're known in the community, you do have a target on your back a lot of times. So you have to understand that if you are public, that those things are going to be more likely to happen, right? Just because of the way people are. So if you're going to engage in these activities, I think staying under the radar is your best bet, right? So staying under the radar means you're not in conflict with your server, you're not going around harassing people on Discords, you're not getting involved in alliance dramas. Just stay in your own lane if you're going to engage in these things, and you're probably going to have less likely chance of your stuff getting banned. So it's just a couple of things: is get along with your server, don't plunder more than 200 billion RSS a month, right? And probably be a spender or a coiner. So make sure if you're going to be doing that, that you're spending at the same time. And I would say, if you can, possibly have different devices for your accounts, right? Have different devices so that you are not tracking on the same IP, is how I see it. So staying away from PC client on the same computer as your other softwares, that's probably important. Also, don't talk about this stuff on the game, right? Don't talk about it on the game. And I think you can talk about it on Discord to trusted people, but it should not be something that you talk about in a server-wide type situation, right? Because anybody can take that and report you. So keep it very much segregated to the very few people that might be doing it as well that you know you need to communicate with, but don't ever talk about it on the game. Now, those are just the tips, but really, truly, the only way you can get your account unbanned is if you are consistently emailing them every single day. I mean that. All the people that have gotten their accounts unbanned were incessantly emailing customer service. You could also try to work things out with people you're in conflict with. So I know a lot of people do not want to go that route. I know a lot of people hold the grudges. A lot of people want to save face. They don't want to, lower themselves to people that they cannot stand. But if your account is that important, right, and you really care about playing with your team and whatnot, then sometimes you just gotta do that kind of stuff, right? Sometimes you just have to get the peace so that you can get your account back, and you know what? Your game is probably going to be much better after. So that is a possibility, but if you can't do that and you can't get past that, then your only other option is to consistently email Evony and have other people email on your behalf. So that being said, I'm doing this video. Daddy Purge would love if anybody that can resonate with this content, write to customer service. Here's his game ID. Please, let them know that he is a real player. He didn't violate terms of service and he should get his account unbanned. So I wish everyone the best of luck. We still have the Aptoid Discord promo code that's going on until end of SVS. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.